name is Sarah Carr, and this is my story. In my early years, I had a pretty normal childhood. I grew up with a big family. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. So I have 2 older sisters, 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters. So I kind of had the best of both worlds. I'm the 3rd youngest, so I have had the fun older siblings, but I've also been able to be the fun older sibling as well. Everything was pretty normal up until I turned right around the age of 10. We lost a family friend in a car accident, and from that moment on, my life kind of really changed. At such a young age, I just became scared. I was scared of, I first started out just being scared that I would get killed in a car accident, or that one of my parents would get killed in a car accident, and it just quickly escalated into being not only afraid of dying in a car accident, but just being afraid of dying in general. I wouldn't go in the car anywhere. I wouldn't rarely go outside, especially not after dark. I couldn't sleep. I was afraid to sleep. I rarely would eat. And this was over the span of a couple of years, and just as the time went on, it just rapidly got worse and worse. During this time, I really didn't live. I'm between the ages of 10 and 13, and most kids are out having fun and playing with their friends and going on trips and doing fun things outside, but I didn't do any of that. I stayed home, didn't have any friends, rarely would go outside to play with the neighbors. It was just kind of me and my bubble here, my bubble of fear and always being afraid. And so it's definitely a hard time even now looking back and just thinking of those couple of years and just everything that I missed out on and wasn't able to be a part of. And just remembering how afraid I was is just hard to think about. After a couple of years of this going on, my parents decided to start getting counseling for themselves and for me. So a counselor would come to our house because, again, I still at this point wasn't leaving my house. So after just intense counseling, I was kind of forced to start doing things. I was forced to go places, forced in a good sense. Like, they were trying to help me to get better and overcome this fear, so I had to go places. I had to ride in the car. I had to be away from my parents. All these different things that I was terrified of. After a long time, a lot of intense moments of being pushed out of my comfort zone, I finally kind of hit this turn. It was such a decline for a long time of just getting worse and worse in my fear, and I finally felt like it started going up and I was feeling better. And I think it was the summer after my sophomore year, I went on my first international missions trip. So not only was I away from my family, I had to fly on a plane, which I had never done before. I was in a place that was unfamiliar. For 10 days, I went to El Salvador and Honduras, and because of where we were, I wasn't able to have my phone, or I didn't have cell reception, so it was kind of just being cut off for 10 days from my family, my comfort, all these different things, and what an experience that was. It was intense, it was scary, but I definitely came back a completely different person, and just really, as I was saying, just kept feeling like I was going up and going up, and finally hitting this turnaround point of, I can do this. I can be scared, but I can still push through this and keep going, and I can face my fears and all these things. It's not going to be the end of the world. Since then, I've been on 2 more international mission trips, and after each trip, I feel like I come back a whole new person. Just having faced those fears on the trips, and every time I get scary, but every time I'm able to push through and I'm able to come back more brave and more fearless and more grown into this person who I am today. For the last couple of years, traveling has just been something that I love so much, and it makes me love it even more thinking about who I was when I was 10, 11, 12, how all those trips I missed out on with my family and all the events and activities that I wasn't able to participate in with my friends and my family, and now to be where I am now 10 years later, and I just love traveling. I love going out on adventures. I love doing things that scare me. I love just being pushed to my limit and then going even farther past that. So why am I making this video? Why am I sharing my life story? Why am I sharing my struggles and telling people about the things that I've had to face? Well, recently in the last couple of years, as I've just been more open about my struggles, past and current, I've just come to realize that there is a huge group of people in this world who struggle with the same things and are too embarrassed to talk about it, or too ashamed, or even too afraid to talk about it. And I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be ashamed and embarrassed and fearful of this thing that we can't control. And so I want to talk about it because I don't want it to be this thing that people are ashamed of. I don't want it to be this thing that people have to suffer alone with. I want to be a voice of hope and courage that, yes, this is scary. Yes, this is hard, but you can do it. You can overcome this fear that you have. You can overcome all this anxiety. And I want to be a hope for people. If that means me putting myself out there for other people, then here I am putting myself out there. I have struggled with anxiety for years, and just because I've learned how to deal with it doesn't mean I still don't struggle with it. I still struggle with it, but I do not let it control my life anymore. Just what I want to help people come to realize is, yes, you can struggle with anxiety and fear and depression and all these different things, but yes, you still can have a life. You can push past your fears, you can push past your anxiety, and you can live. And that's just what I want people to understand and know and realize, is that yes, that you are in a hard time, and yes, you can get through it. So for anyone out there who's struggling with anxiety, fear, depression, any of those things, know that you are not alone. Know that you can get through this. Know that this doesn't have to define your life. Know that you can do more than what your life is right now.